All right. Yeah, it's easy. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, because those are the organs that when you have too much sugar flow in your system, it damages. Now, like I said, you have the type 1 and you have the type 2. Then you have what? The pregnancy-induced one, where for those, diabetes in pregnancy, where if a woman is pregnant because of the hormones that flow in the system, it becomes a little difficult to absorb the sugar. So there's what they call insulin impairment or insensitivity. So that's a different one. Usually, after the pregnancy is done, it goes right back to what it is. However, it puts you at a risk for future diabetes in the future. Now, why is it so important when we talk about diabetes? Because diabetes runs in families. People have DNA, genes that carry the risk for diabetes. So if one parent has diabetes, it's almost like 33% chance of you having diabetes, the children. Now, if two parents have diabetes, then increase the risk from 45 to 63% chance of you having diabetes. So it's important, and like I always say, especially our people, we don't tell our story. Learn to tell your medical story with your children. Because whose DNA are they carrying? Not mine, they're carrying yours. So whatever happened to you, you have to tell them. So that when they grow up and they see what's happening, then they can safely safeguard those things. And then not just that, they can even go check first before the disease actually happens. Like I just said, points to the brain, to the kidneys, and everywhere else. Those are the organs, when you have too much sugar flow in the system, they affect. So the number one cause of kidney failure in the world is diabetes. When a kidney fails, people are going to dialysis. And I always tell people this, control your diabetes before diabetes controls you. Because if it doesn't, it will take charge. People go blind, people have strokes, people have heart attacks, and then the kidneys fail. Once you go on dialysis, it's a disease in itself, and that is not good. So how do we begin to know if somebody has diabetes? Listen, the first thing you do in the morning was what? Pee. Now, if you wake up overnight, you go to bed at maybe 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but you woke up 5 times in the morning to go pee, there's something wrong. Because the body will always tell you when there's something going on. Who's with you 247? You. You're the only person who's with you 247, right? Nobody's with you 247. It's only you. You can only see your doctor. You've been with your doctor for 30 minutes, maximum 45 minutes if you guys are real good friends, and then chit chat about other stuff like I do with some of them that come to see me. However, you're with yourself 247. Not even your parents. It is you. So you know how your body works. You have to be in tune with your body and be able to understand how your body works. If you have pain in your knee, or you have some numbness in your leg, and you say, I have numbness now. All right, let me see if I can walk over it or walk with it, or see if I do stuff, it'll go away. If you wait 1 day, 2 days, a week, it hasn't gone, by the next week you go seek help. And especially if you're a child, then you speak to your parents. Like, Mom, there's something wrong. I can't feel my legs, or I have numbness in my arm, or I have pain. You have to, because it's you who knows better. So if you wake up in the morning, if you wake up more than 3 times at night, even if you drink so much water, the body has the capacity to control and handle that water and keep it safe in your bladder till the morning. But if you wake up more than 3 times to pee in the morning, something's wrong. And that's the early signs of diabetes. Now, on the layman end, or if you wake up and then all of a sudden, the books that you used to read every day, you can read like, oh my God, I think I need glasses. This is old age. It may not just be old age. It may just be, again, the sugar going to the eye and begin to change the fiber and the function of the eye. So, because diabetes affects the eyes. So you have to go see your doctor. You can see the eye doctor, and he will tell you if it's diabetes that, disturbing you. Or at home, you can just go get, a finger stick and check what your sugar, looks like. Now, if you feel, like I said, numbness in both legs or something that's wrong, then you need to begin to go check. Now, when you check for sugar, they have glucometer, which is the machine that you use in checking for sugar. You take a little prick of the blood. I know people are petrified about that. They're still doing studies to see if we can get easy ones where you monitor your sugar without having to prick yourself. But getting the blood and check usually is still the #1 standard for checking for sugar. Now, if you fasted the whole day, maybe not just necessarily, if you haven't eaten for 2 hours or more and you check your sugar and it's over 126, then there's something wrong, right? Now, if you just ate within 2 hours and you check your sugar, it's over maybe 300, 500, then there's something wrong. Because if your pancreas are working, even if you just ate, like I just drank some, tea, coffee just now and ate a donut, my insulin would just like pour out to seize the glucose that my body produces. So if the sugar just doing this is 500, 400, 300, then there's something wrong. So that's how you begin to tell, other than the fine signs and symptoms. Now, what do I tell everybody? I tell you, please, when you see your doctor, know what your diabetes status is. What does that mean? Know what your diabetes status is. If there's anything you're going to take out of here, is know what your diabetes status is. Just like people talk about, oh, you go to see the doctor. What's the first thing they do? They check your blood pressure. Now, you'll be shocked. They usually don't even check the sugar. However, if you're not diabetic, they will not check your sugar. But when the blood doctor says, oh, go get blood work, like, it's going to stick me again. I hate needles. But guess what? You ask your doctor, please, 2 things. I want to see what status, what's my diabetes status? And I want to see what my protein is in the kidney. Or when I pee, you have to check for your protein in the kidney, irrespective whether I have diabetes or not. Especially as well if you have high blood pressure. Because like I said, the #1 cause of kidney failure in the world is diabetes. Number 2 is what? High blood pressure. So if you have diabetes, it tends to increase the chance of you having high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure and diabetes, that's a double whammy. And that's a huge double insult on the kidneys. You understand? So once you check, you go to your doctor and say, look, I need to know what my diabetes status is. And diabetes status checking is checking for your A1C. It's the hemoglobin A1C. Now, what does that mean? The hemoglobin A1C tells us what your sugar has been for the last 3 months. So whether you eat or you don't eat, whether you take your sugar base or you don't, it will tell me what your sugar has been for the last 3 months. So a few people, before they come see me, they may not take their pills for the next 1 month, 2 months, and then they come in to see me next week. They start not taking their pills. They come, they're like, Doc, I've been taking my pills, But then I check your A1C, it's 8 or 9. You haven't been taking it. Yeah, Doc. I'm like, really? Have you? Well, I restarted because I knew I was coming. No, for the last 3 months, you tell me what your sugar has been. So I can tell that your sugar is high or is not controlled if the A1C is over 7. So ideally, it should be, if you're diabetic, already diagnosed as diabetic, it should be 7 or less. So if you have diabetes, that's the number you need to know, 7 or less. Because if studies have shown that if you have diabetes and your A1C is less than 7, it means that the complications of diabetes is much less. All the going blind, the stroke, the heart, and all that, the risk of having any of those is less. However, there's a new terminology again that just came out that we're talking about, and that's why you need to know what your diabetes status is. It's called what? Pre-diabetes. Pre-diabetes. That's why it's so important, So if anything else you have to know out of here, there's what is called no diabetes, and then it's in between pre-diabetes, and then from here on it's diabetes. Now, before diabetes, before you get to pre-diabetes, this is stage, meaning no diabetes. So the sugar, at least the A1C should be 5.7 or less. 5.7 or less. Now from 5.7 to about 6.9 is here. Sometimes it says 6.5 is this range. So that range you're pre-diabetic, meaning you have a huge chance in the next, most likely 4 years, to become diabetic. Most likely in the next 4 years to become diabetic. So if you don't do anything about that, especially if you have maybe when you were pregnant you had diabetes, or you have a parent or brother or whatever who has diabetes, guess what? You will eventually become diabetic. So in this country, the number of diabetes cases that were reported is growing so much. I mean, in 2016, there were about 29.1 million. Today, it's about 33 million. We're talking about a span of 3 years. And those who are pre-diabetic, huge number. Before it was about 80,000, 80 million people who had pre-diabetes. Today it's almost about 85 million people, going to 88 million. So we have a huge number of people who are at this stage who in the next 4 to 5 years will become diabetic. And you shouldn't be any of those. So that's why it's important that you know if you're pre-diabetic or not. So if you're pre-diabetic, then you begin to take steps about it. And one of the few steps you begin to take is what? You wake up in the morning, you stretch, right? Because those stretching, the muscles eat when you move them, period. So when you have insulin flow in your system, once you eat and you move those muscles, it encourages the insulin to work. It's giving them the to work. So they work better when you move your muscles. So one of the other steps you could do again is what we're going to do, the diabetic walk, is you walk, you exercise, you move those so that you can, control the risk of you becoming diabetic. So every 3 months or so you check, so that from you being 5.7 or 6 or 6.9, if you exercise and watch what you eat and all that, you see that you begin to go this way. So that's exactly what it is. So that's my spiel for today with diabetes. Take your medications, know what your status is, and exercise. Thank you.